Have a good time, everybody, and welcome back to Abhidhamma class, lesson 49. So before we start our Abhidhamma study, let's pay homage to the Buddha, reciting Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Sorry. Okay. Welcome back, and let's start our today's Abhidhamma study. So we have already studied 6th chapter of Abhidhamma up to the chapter 6, the Rupa about the talking the Rupa Saṅgaha. This is the chapter 7, the Samuccaya Saṅgaha. Samuccaya Saṅgaha. In Samuccaya Saṅgaha, there are 4 compendium, 4 subdivision. We will study the first, which is called the Akusalasaṅgaha. It is the compendium of the unwholesome. So let's start. And before we continue to the compendium of unwholesome, let's talk about the introductory verses of the Venerable Acharya Anuruddha. So the compendium of category Samuccaya Saṅgaha, before he continue his writing about the Samuccaya Saṅgaha, he looked back the former 6 chapters. They mention, if we say that all the ultimate realities in the name of consciousness, manifestos, rupa, and materialities. And at the beginning, at the last part of the 6th chapter, he talked about the Nibbana in short. So we can say he already mentioned about the all 4 ultimate realities. So now he will continue to practice to explanation about the the way usually the Buddha taught in the sutta. So in the sutta, the Buddha make the groove of reality, and the Buddha mentioned them in the name, which is familiar to the audience. So, okay, if we look back the former 6th chapter, what the Venerable Acharya Anuruddha mentioned is the 72 kinds of entities have already described. With their characteristic, actually, it's not mentioned about the specific characteristic, but it brings about the name. And I think it seemed prominent to the people at that time. So he said is already their characteristics. So he said he is going to continue about their categories in the way that are applicable. So in the way of understanding, easy way to understand. And so he already said there about the 72 kinds of ultimate reality. So 72 kinds of entirety. So let's see what are they. What are these 72 kinds he is referring to? That is the first one is consciousness. So consciousness, although consciousness is identified or mentioned in the first chapter, the first chapter as there are 89 types, or enlarged even to the 121 types. But here, he mentioned there are only one, as one. They are because there is all types of consciousness have their the same nature of knowing the object, knowing it is object, or in other words, the cognizing of an object. So if we say the unconsciousness just know, just aware, it is visible form, it is object, just aware. It cannot have the nature or good or bad, but the Ch-VII, the associated mental factor have that nature, and arising together, and we can recognize this consciousness is called the unwholesome consciousness, or this consciousness is called wholesome consciousness. That's why the intrinsic nature of the consciousness is just the cognizing of an object, just knowing the object. So that's why consciousness is enumerated as one. And Ch-VII are separately counted for 52, because they have, each of the mental factors have the different, their own different intrinsic nature. The lower Greek have the different characteristic than from the dosa, anger or hatred. Yeah. So in this way, every Ch-VII have their own intrinsic nature. That's why they cannot be enumerated in the group or collectively. So they can be counted separately. That's why 52 Ch-VII. Then among the 28 materiality, here the only concretely produced matters, they are called in the Nibbana Rupa in Pali. We have already studied these Nibbana Rupa. What are these? We already know, and then you can check back in the chapter 6. So the concretely produced matter 18, they are also have the same that their own intrinsic nature, their own characteristic. So the Batawi Dhatu, the hardness, have its own characteristic, which is different from the Vayu Dhatu. So they are enumerated separately. So concretely produced matter 18 and Nibbana as one. So although we analyze the Saubhadisisa Nibbana or Anubhadisisa Nibbana, but the nature of Nibbana is only one. It's called the Santi Lakkhana, the peaceful characteristic, peaceful state, ultimate peace. So Nibbana is one. In this way, the 72 kinds of entirety has been already described in former 6th chapter. Then here we have the question, what about the non-concretely produced matter 10? So among the 28, it counts only 18. So we left 10 10 materialities, they are called the non-concretely produced matter and Anippana Rupa in Pali. So let's talk about them. And here, the 10 kinds of non-concretely produced matter are not counted in 72. So what is the reason? Is there these 10 materialities are lack of the intrinsic nature. So they are counted as ultimate realities of matters, but they cannot stand by themselves. Actually, for example, the space element, which is called the Akasa Dhatu, space element, it is just between the two material cluster, material group. Without these two material groups, it cannot be identified by its own characteristic. That's why it depends on the other concretely materialities. That is why it has lack intrinsic nature for its own. And this is the reason why they are not counted in the 72 entities. So it means the 72 entities are the reality. They can stand on their own characteristic and without depending on any other realities. So on the other hand, another reason, because of they are lack in intrinsic nature of their own. That's why they do not enter into the range of insight contemplation. So they cannot be the object of insight knowledge. So when the meditator practices the Vipassana meditation, he should not take them as it is as his or her object of Vipassana meditation, because they are not clear in the nature of impermanence, suffering, and non-self in the three characteristics for their own. Depending on the other materiality, they can show this sign. That's why a Vipassana meditator should not take them as objects of insight knowledge. So they cannot be the object of insight knowledge. So we can understand why they are left behind, not counting in the 72. So we already got the 72 entities. Let's continue. And he says that he will continue to talk about the 72 in their categories. So first of all, he analyzed the Nuroda analyzed the compendiums, the 4 compendiums of categories. The first one is a compendiums of Unwholesome Akusalasaṅgaha, we call that. And in that compendium of Unwholesome, he just make the group of the collection of the categories or groups of unwholesome. So all are unwholesome. On the other hand, we can say the compendium is composed of the 12 unwholesome mental fetters. Talking about the 12 unwholesome mental fetters. Then, secondly, Mesaka Saṅgaha. Here, the word Mesaka is translated as mist. So mist together. So there, unwholesome mental fetters and also the beautiful mental fetters come together in that group. And the Anyasamana already messed up. So in this second compendium, there will be in both sides of unwholesome and beautiful. When we refer to the entities. Then Auripekya-saṅgaha. This is the compendium of the requisites of enlightenment. Requisites of enlightenment. This is very interesting. There are 37 requisites of enlightenment are mentioned according to the group, like the Satipatthana, Sammapatthana, etc. So we will see there in the compendium of requisites of enlightenment. Then for the less, Sabha Saṅgaha. Here, Sabha is all or the whole. That's why Sabha Saṅgaha, the compendium of the whole. In this case, here usually he make the collection of the categories there consist of all ultimate reality. Usually, it means about the khandha is refers to all the conditional realities. So that is called the Sabha Saṅgaha, the compendium of the whole. So let's continue to talk about our today's main topics of Akusalasaṅgaha. So here in this compendium of unwholesome, there are 9 groups of unwholesome mentioned by the Anuruddha. So the first one is asava, taints, and orga, flats, yoga, bonds, and ganta, knots, and upadana, clinging. So they are each of them have the forks in number. So we counted here, there are 4 tails and 4 flats, etc. But here, this number in the brackets are showing the reference to the entirety. When we refer to the entirety in these 4 tails, we get only 3. We will see it in the next slides. So here we have to keep in mind 9 groups of unwholesome thoughts. Here upadana, clinging, and let's continue to the 6th one. Is very popular, nivarana. It's called the mental hindrances. Then mental hindrances are 6 in number, but if we refer to the entities or the ultimate reality of mental factors, they are 8 in number. And here, 4 clingings are counted as 2 entities. Then anusaya, disposition. This is called the latent disposition, underlying disposition, and they are 7 in number. But if we refer to entirety, only 6. Then sanyojana, 10 fetters. So 10 fetters divided into 2 groups. One is according to the Siddhanta, and the other is according to Abhidhamma. But if we count them, only 9 entities, even in 2 groups. So kilesa, defilements. So there are 10 kilesa and 10 entities. So now let's keep in mind there are the 9 groups of unwholesome: asava, orga, yoga, ganta, upadana, nivarana, anusaya, sanyojana, and kilesa. Okay, let's see them one by one. The first one is Chattaro asava. Chattaro asava. The 14th. The first one is kama sawa, the taint of sensual desire, and bhava sawa, the taint of attachment to the existent. So, and both of them are reference to the one entities of greed. In others say craving. We say the tanha. If we use the word grief, a greed is a lobha. There is one manifest in chapter 2. So in order to understand the chapter 7, you have to read again about the chapter 2, Ch-VII, because usually talk about the manifests. In only a few cases referring to the consciousness and materialities. Here, mostly talk about the manifest. That's why you have to remember the manifests. So here in this case, if you remember the 14 unwholesome mental factor, it is enough, because in this compendium of unwholesome, it will talk about the the only that group of unwholesome mental factor. Yes, sensual desire, the first one, kama asawa here taints. So we will talk about the taints. Just see the enumeration first. The first one is sensual desire, and second one, attachment to existence, and the third one, dikta sawa, and the taint of round view. So round view, you know that round view is deity and asawa come together, dikta asawa. And the last one, avijja sawa. Avijja sawa is the taint of ignorance. So avijja, ignorance, they are synonym. And in the same way, the lobha and craving tanha, and greed, lobha, craving tanha, and avijja, ignorance. Okay, so let's talk about the asawa, the meaning of asawa. What are the asawa, and why they are called asawa? Here in this case, original meaning of asawa is something which flows out. Is called asawa. Here two meanings two definitions are given to that one. And the first definition is past oozing from the absent. What's oozing from the absent is so the old one, the leaking of the oozing the past. That is the first meaning. Then the second meaning is intoxicants, which have been fermented for a long time. It's like the wine or something, the alcohol. So these two meaning, this is a reference to the original meaning. They are here, they flow out and they pass oozing. The second meaning, the intoxicants. So actually the defilements are called asawa, but not all defilements. The defilements, the only three defilements, but those have the similarity of the oozing pus or the fermented intoxicants. Oozing pus or fermented intoxicants. So how they're similar, and so the oozing pus, the flowing from the absent. In the same way, the asawa, three, or here in this case, the four, are flowing through your idol, etc. So coming into or flowing into your mental process through the idol, etc. So, and also they can flow out up to the topmost plane of existence, the highest plane of existence, which is called the nivasanyana sanyayana. That plane of existence is the highest in the realm of samsara. But the asawa can flow up, but usually the water flow usually to the down. But here, the power of asawa can flow right up to the topmost plane, highest plane of existence. And that is why they are named as asawa. And another reason, they flow up to the change of lineage, Godrabu. So as you know, the Godrabu is just before the mind moment, just before the enlightenment, just before the mega. So after that, the defilements are cut off by the mega. So the path knowledge. Even after right before that moment, right before the enlightenment, is nearly cutting off. The asava flow up to that moment of my mental process, that moment of mental process. That's when they are, we can say they're very powerful to spread around or to flow out. So they similar to, given the to the example, they are similar to the oozing pus and fermented intoxicants. And so referring to the three Ch-VII, but classified as four, as the sensual desire, etc. So they are named as asava. But we have the complaint that even the we can have the question that even the conceit, mana, etc., some uddhacca, they also can arise, can take the object. So they also can reach up to the moment, my moment, or Gudrabu, by taking as its object. So, but they are not called asava. The reason is because they don't have the, they are not spreading like the lobha here, lobha, former two, and ditthi and moha. They don't have the spreading power like these three mental fetters or three defilements. So only these three mental fetters have the powerful spreading power like intoxicants. So if we put the material into the bottle or any container and keep it in long times, and they are fermented to become the intoxicant, any types of intoxicant. So in the same way, they can spread powerfully. That's why they are called asava. Even though the conceit, mana, etc., can reach up to their change of lineage and their highest plane of existence, they are not called asava. In this case, they are called, they're given by the name. So sometimes it is called their wrongly, not following the original meaning, but they taking the sample of the original meaning. If we call the person who was Silawanda, for example, Silawanda, who have their moral precept, but although he is breaking the rules, also we continue to call him the Silawanda because this is just to name. So here, it has the original meaning and similarity, but not all those match to that original meaning are called the asava. Just only three are called asava. So three mental fetters or greed, wrong view, and delusion or ignorance. Delusion is the original translation of the moha. So moha Ch-VII, but there's no avijja Ch-VII. Here, avijja refers to ignorance, translated as ignorance, but reference to the delusion, mental fetters of delusion, moha. And okay, so we already understand the four types of asava: kama asava, bhava asava, ditthha asava, and avijja asava. But we have to take off the entities referring to any of the 72s. So we already said about the 72. We have to refer any of the 72 for each name. So here, the former two things of the sensual desire, kama asava, and the attachment to existence. So bhava asava, they are there's the one entirety is taken out. That is called the greed, lobha. Both of them reference to the greed. So kama asava here, the explanation comes. They are attachment or craving for the sensual pleasure or things sensual pleasure is called the kama sawa. And it usually spreads in the sensual planar existence. Then here, second one, the attachment to existence, bhava-sawa. Here, existence refers to the five material sphere and immaterial sphere realm of existence, no reference to the sensual existence. So if we attach to the sensual pleasure, including the sensual realm of existence, that is called kama-sawa. Overcoming that, and one after attainment of the jhana, still have the asawa, there is attachment to the five material sphere or immaterial sphere plane of existence. That is called bhava-sawa. Okay, both of them are reference to greed, lobha. Then the last two of the round view. So here reference to the round view, it has the Cetasika mental factors by its name, Ditthi Cetasika. And the Avijja-sawa, the taint of ignorance, referring to the mental factors of delusion, moha. So if we count this in entities of the 72, we just get the three entities of greed, lobha, round view, ditthi, and delusion, moha. Then here is just identifying it's called the craving here. So the kama-sawa and bhava-sawa referring to the greed. The greed have the synonym of craving, tanha. So that the sensual desire and also the attachment to the existence, because it has its basis. Okay, so let's continue about their another group. Second group is called the orga, translated as the floods. So because it is translated as floods, orga, and the flood can sweep away the people. In the same way, the same mental factors are referred. So they have the power of spreading up to the highest plane of existence, and up to the moment of Gudrabu, they are called the asawa. In the same way, they have the power to sweep being away into the ocean of existence. That is why they are also called floods too. They are called floods too, orga. So asawa, orga, just the different categories. The reference are the same. And also they are called the floods or orga because they are hard to cross. So the orga, the flood is difficult to cross. In the same way, the beings have difficulty to cross these four types of floods in samsara. If we try to practice to cross the ocean of the existence, to go beyond the samsara, to attain the nibbana, they are very difficult place to cross. That's why they are called orga. And also the same entities are called by the different name of the yoga. They are called the bonds, yoga, and because they yoke being to suffering, they yoke like the ox yoke in the carts. In the same way, beings are yoked in the suffering, so they have to stay in suffering, deal with the suffering. So as long as they are not cut off by the mega, they do not allow the beings to escape from the suffering. So they also have that power. That's why they are also called the bonds. So yoga. So three categories have the same referent entities: lobha, ditthi, and moha. So we already finished three categories. So let's continue for the fourth one. That is called the Ganta. So Ganta are translated as knots because the knots are already tied and tied up and difficult to untie, difficult to unbound. In the same way, if the beings are bound by these four types of Ganta, are difficult to escape from that ties. So they tied up the present body to the future existence, the body in future existence. That is why the beings cannot end up their running in the cycle or rebirth after this present life. So after this present life, when the last mind movement of this life is disappear as a suti, chitta, and they continue to the body, to having the body. Body refers to the mental and physical body. So in both sides of mental group or mental aggregations, or so four aggregates of mentality and the material aggregates. So referring to these two types of bodies, the beings cannot cut off, cannot stop, cannot untie themselves to escape, because it's ties. There are four ties, four knots, difficult to untie. So the first one is Abhidhamma Kaya Ganta. Here, Kaya and Ganta, knots and bodily. Body refers to the mental and physical bodies. So actually, the mentality and physical as the materialities, if they are in their nature, they are not called the aggregate. But after arising, when they arise in the process, they arise in the group, then they are called the aggregation. So they are regarded as the body, and we also understand the group of materiality as our body. So the first one, the Abhidhamma Kaya Gantas, is not of covidiousness. And the second one, Vyavaro Kaya Ganta, this is evil. And the third one, Silabhata Pramasa Kaya Ganta, the bodily knot of adherence to rites and ceremonies. And the fourth one, Idam Sacha Biniviso Kaya Ganta, the body knot of dogmatic belief that this alone is true, others are nothing, others are wrong in this way. So these four, if we talk about this, the confidence, so if that refers to the greed or craving. So another meaning, avijja kaya ganta. Avijja is the synonym of craving or greed in the level. If they not or tied of the being in the things, they are called the avijja kaya ganta. But if we take off the entirety, it is craving or greed, actually the lobha citasika. And second one, vyavaro kaya ganta. Vyavara usually refers to the hatred, dosa. So there is no vyavara citasika or avijja citasika, only dosa is represented as the avijja. Vyavara kaya ganta. Then the last two reference together to the citasika or round view ditti. So silabhata brahmaso kaya ganta and idam sacha biniviso kaya ganta, both are reference to the factors of round view ditti. So only three. Up to now, all are three: the asava, oga, yoga. Although they are counted in their name four, if we take out the entirety, we get only three: lobha, ditti, and moha. Here in this case of their ganta knots, bodily knots, the manifestors of greed, lobha, and hatred, dosa, here hatred, and round view deity are referred as their entireties. So here, okay, these manifestors, why they are called the bodily knot, the kaya ganta. Yeah, they knocked the beings in the samsara, in the suffering. So following the meaning of the silabada pramasa and idam sacha binivisa, here the third and fourth, referring to the round view. Although they have the same referent entirety, they are given in different names. Why? They are the first one, adherence or rite and ceremony is a kind of belief. So belief, but not on the truth, on the wrong way. So if the person have that kinds of wrong view, he believes that the performance of a ritual constitute the means of liberation. It means if we follow a practice that ritual, we can get the liberation. So this is a kind of practice to liberation. If he believes on the rite and ceremony, he is holding the round view of Silabada Paramasa Kaya Ganta. If we say in the entirety, in the name of entirety, he has the manifestors of round view. But if we say the specific name of the bodily knot, he is tied up by this Silabada Paramasa Kaya Ganta. For the fourth one, the dogmatic beliefs. It means if someone is holding that the dogmatic belief, saying that this alone is true, nothing others is true, every other things are wrong. So here, that also a kind of belief, but the fun conviction, he strongly holds his own view as a true, and the others' views are false. But here in this case, what about the nowhere a full path alone is true to attain the liberation, to attain the enlightenment? So in this case, although he is holding his view, this only is true, but it is not called the idam sacha binivisa kaya ganta, because the view he is holding is right. So right view is not included under the wrong view. It is straightly opposite of the wrong view. That is why it is just the work of satta. He understand there. That is the faculty of the wisdom. If we refer to the ultimate reality, he knows that this is the right path, and he believes on this path, that right path, and he trying to continue. That is called the work of satta, just believe on something right. So if someone is holding wrong view, and this only is true, so at that time we call that he is tied by the fourth ganta. Okay, so let's continue to the reference of the conclusion of the three name of the wrong view. The first one is the adherence to the rite and ceremony. Here, rites and ceremonies is sila, vada, paramasa, sila, vada, paramasa. Some people believe in that if I'm practice like imitating to their to the dogs, following the way of living or the way of practicing of the dogs, I can escape from their suffering, etc. And all the rites and ceremony related to the how to say that the traditional, including the traditional and they are specific way of round view. We can see according to the age, a different way of practice. But if they are not related to the practice of the Noble Eightfold Paths, we can see if someone hold that view, that is called the Silabada Pramasa. It's both called the, is here the Pramasa. He believes in that, just not for the economics benefits or the social benefits. He is following or practicing that ritual practice for the deliverance. That is, at that time, it is called the round view. It's just for the economics and the social profit, they are not called the round view. And the second one, Iran Sacha Biniwesa, also a reference to round view, deity. And the last one, clinging to the doctrine of self, the doctrines of the, and this will come later, the Attawadu Parana, after the following classification will include this one. So 3 reference to round view by different name, okay? Then let's continue for the number 5 categories. This is called the Chattaro Upadana, the 4 clingings, the Kamu Parana, etc. In the name, you can see the translation, but I will explain about the reference to their entirety there. The first one, clinging to sense pleasure, is called the craving, reference to the craving here, sense pleasure, the craving or greed, lobha. And the other 3 are called the reference to round view. So here, the less Attawadu Parana is different. The other 2 are Detu Parana by its name, and Silabadu Parana, and they fall similar to the Ganta knock, bodily knock, same as. Then the Attawadu Parana is holding the view of. So okay, let's see the one by one. So here we can understand only 2 entities of lobha and deity are regarded as the clinging, because they are very strong. Here, the only strong defilements are recognized as the upadana, clinging, a very strong, intensified craving. So the first one, intensified craving for the sense pleasure. So not just the craving, it's very strong craving. It's called the clinging, not release. And here, if we cling to any other thing very strongly, it's because of their, we can understand it is because of upadana level of the greed, lobha. Then, okay, the second among the 3 deity. So here, deity upadana, the round view also can cling strongly. So after clinging, it can punishes their moralities. It can destroy the morality. So just holding the round view or following is not breaking the moral precept. But if the round view becomes strong up to the level of clinging, is break down the moral precept, ignore the moral precept, like nihilism and fatalism, etc. So the others view also included in this round view. So Detu Parana, because the only exception are the Silabada and Attawada. So let's continue to what are the Silabada. We already talked the rites and ritual. So performance of right ritual, practice them with the belief this practice can lead me to liberation. So this is called the third clinging, clinging, and the Silabadu Parana. And the last one is the clinging to the doctrine of self. So Atta, self is atta or atma. That is clinging to the doctrine of self, the personality view, the Sakaya deity. It is called the personality round view, the Sakaya deity. The holding or keeping in mind self, there is self. Is it in our aggregate, although the aggregation of the body gone, the self continue like this, the focusing on the believing on the as one entirety is self. So in the sutta, it's mentioned there are 20 types of self personal view, the aggregate. So focusing on the taking the 5 aggregate, but actually there are only 5 aggregate is it in the ultimate things. But in our understanding, we take the materiality group as their self, or self possess the materiality group in this way. Then materiality as in self and self as in materiality. So there's no self, but we create the self and mix up with the materiality. These are 4 ways for the material aggregate. In the same way, if we apply them to the other 4 aggregates or feeling. So here, if we regard the feeling as self, or the self possess a feeling in this way, and there are 30 types of personality view, which is called the Sakaya Ditti. So here, the 4th clinging, upadana, is referring to the Sakaya Ditti. Then, so continue to the, let's continue to the 6th group, 6th category, which is very popular, the mental hindrances, very popular. Most of you already understand their nivarana. They are called nivarana, mental hindrances, because they hinder or they obstruct, they block the way to heavenly rebirth and the attainment of nibbana, and also attainment of jhana. If someone have the strong nivarana, although he or she already attained the jhana, his jhana is gone, disappear. Then these can block the way to the heavenly rebirth if they arise near that moment. They can prevent. Although you have the karma to go there, and if they block, you cannot go. You cannot be reborn there. And also the attainment of the jhana and mega phala, etc. Here, okay, let's see the one by one. They are very popular. Already see the Kama Chanda, Davara, Tinamita, Odacha, Kokucha, Vichikicha, and Avijja. Here, usually in the sutta, is usually given the group sometime with the Avijja. The categories are classified with the Avijja, and sometimes it is left behind, excluding the Avijja Nivarana. Only 5 mentioned there up to the Vichikicha Nivarana, because the Avijja ignorance does not block the way to the heavenly rebirth or the attainment or jhana. It just blocks to the attainment, the way attainment to attain the mecca. So sometimes it is left behind. So the classification you will see if you read sutta, sometimes only the 5 nivarana, pancha nivarana. But here in the Abhidhamma, it counts, enumerate all kinds of mental hindrances. So there are 6. So if we count, there are the commentary say, not only the commentary, even the Buddha, in the discourse of the Buddha, we can see the 5 mental fetters, the prevent arising and wholesome, the block there. And also the arising, wholesome, not let to endure, to continue the already arising there because of the mental hindrances come and overwhelm them, the mental process. Okay, so here is mentioned that the former 5 obstructs or hinder to the attainment of jhana, and the 6 only the last one can hinder the wisdom. But actually, even the former 5 can obstruct or can block the attainment or the arising of wisdom 2 and wisdom 2, or Nivarana can block the arising of wisdom. So if we take out the entirety, we get the altogether 8 out of the 6, although they are counted in the name 6, but we get the 8 Cetasika as the entirety of the Nivarana. So here, because the 2 pairs of the sloth and torpor and restlessness and wari, Odaja and Kukucha, here wari. And Tinamita and Odaja Kukucha are counted in pairs, so as 1. Yep. The reason is given that because of their similarity, the Buddha also used when he talked about the mental hindrance, he used 2 together, or sloth and torpor, Tinamita, and restlessness and wari, Odaja Kukucha, because of the similarity in their respective function and condition and antidotes in three aspects. So sloth and torpor, Tina and Mita, although they have the specific different characteristic of their own in the Cetasika, sloth and torpor, but they have the function of engendering of the cause and the mental sluggishness, and also they are conditioned at the laziness and drowsiness, so they share the same condition, and also they are encountered by arousing energy. So we can encounter by arising energy inside our mental process to prevent the sloth and torpor both together. That's why they are counted in in pairs. Then restlessness and worry, they also share the function. So disquietude, they give rise to disquietude of mind, and also they are conditioned by the disruption of thought. So the same condition. And also calm is the opposite of both of these mental hindrances. That's why they are enumerated in pairs. So if we separate into the specific mental factors, we get the 8 Cetasika or the entireties of Nivarana. Then, okay, let's continue to the next group of the Anusaya. Anusaya is translated as the latent disposition. So they are underlying mental defilements. So we call them mental defilements because the 7 here, 7 latent disposition, or called Satta Anusaya, referring to the former 7 defilements, out of the 10. Okay, let's see. Kamaraga Nusayo, Bhavaraga Nusayo. So disposition to sensual lust, Kamaraga. And Bhavaraga, as you know, the existence. Both of these Anusaya disposition referring to the Lobha. So they refer to the entirety of Lobha. And Patika, etc. We already have the name. Patika, Anusaya, Mana Anusaya, conceit, Data Anusaya, wrong view, Vichikecha Anusaya, doubt, and Avijja Anusaya, ignorance. So we already get this name. And so here, they are defilements, but in both sides of defilement, they are called the latent disposition by the name of Anusaya, because they are very powerful. They are very powerful. They stay in the how to say, the underlying level, although they are not arising, difficult to see and difficult to remove. So even when we perform the wholesome as a putujana, so having the latent disposition inside the mental process, under the mental process, even when we are performing the wholesome thing, so performing the marriage, there are the 7 latent disposition, anusaya, under that level. So with the expectation of the being born in somewhere, so existent, so we make marriage, then the underlying disposition are there. That is why they are called the anusaya, by the name of anusaya. The other, like there's sloth, etc. The other 3 of other defilements, although they are defilements, they can define the mind, but they cannot underline in every moment until they are removed by the arhata magga, the path knowledge of the arhatship. So here the 7 have that powers to underline, to exist in the underlying level of their mental process. So if they have the condition, they can come to surface, to obsession. They come to surface and come to, they are called, that moment is called the priyotthana level. So kilesa have their level, 3 level. Maybe you may heard about that. And this level is anusaya kilesa, underlying level. And then priyotthana is they come to the surface. And also the others, the vitikama is break the comet by the physically or verbally. So okay, so this is the smoothest or deepest level of the defilements are called the anusaya. They only 7 of 10 defilement have the this potency of anusaya. Okay, then let's continue to the fetters. So fetters are the sayojana in Pali. They bind the beings around the existent, not letting go, not letting escape the beings from the existent. That's why they are called the sayojana. In the way of Suttanta, so here Suttanti is at the discourse of the Suttanta. In the discourse of the Suttanta method, there are 10 dasa sayojana. So the fetters are Kamaraga sayojana, Ruparaga sayojana, and Aruparaga sayojana. So here, as you know, the Kamaraga sensual loves. And Ruparaga, 5 material existence. We already familiar about the word Rupa, 5 material existence. And Aruparaga, immaterial existence. So if we counted the sensual planar existence, all 31 planar existence are here. So that's why we can refer only we can take off the only one entities of greed or craving for 3s, the former 3s. Although they come in different names. The 4th one is the patika. So patika is the name of aversion and reference to the hatred, dosa. Then mana, conceit, and ditti, wrong view. Then ditti combine the 2 names. So another name is silabhata paramasa sayojana. We don't need to talk about that again. And these 2 referring to the round view of entirety. Then here, vichikicha, doubt, and uddhaca sayojana, recklessness, and avijja sayojana, ignorance. So here all you already know them in the mandafetas or unwholesome cetasika. So here, if we count it, lobha and dosa aversion, mana 3, then round view 4, and doubt 6, recklessness 7, and ignorance. So here, if we count them, there are 7 entities here in this method of Suttanta for Sayojana. Then if we continue counting according to the method of Abhidhamma, very similar. Both, that the second one become the Bhavaraga Nusaya is collectively referring to their Rupa Raga and Arupa Raga. So Rupa and Arupa existent. So they are named of Bhavaraga in the Abhidhamma method. So only two referring to the craving or greed, lobha. The others same, but only the different comes. Here, number 8, Isa Sanyojana and Machariya Sanyojana. Isa, the fetters of envy and avarice, they are new. So there, in the Suttanta method, the Udaja, restlessness, is new, different. So here is only combination. And Abhidhamma method, two are new, envy and avarice. So Avijja Sanyojana is the same as before. That is why if we counted the entirety, we haven't counted in the Suttanta method, we get only 2. That is why if we take off the entirety from the Sanyojana, we get only we get the 9. So in Suttanta method 7 and Abhidhamma method new 2. So the former Suttanta apply in the both in the Sutta Pitaka and Abhidhamma Pitaka. The second set you can find only in the Abhidhamma Pitaka. So this is about the Sanyojana Garu. And let's continue to the last category of the Kilesa. So Kilesa, they afflict. They are called because they afflict and torment. It means that the meaning is usually we know that they define our mind or the being's mind to a depraved condition, to the deity, to make deity. But the former meaning usually we don't know. That one is kileseti upatapendis. This is burning. That's why kilesa are compared to the fire. So raga agi. So raga agi refers to the fire of greed, etc. So they are compared to the fires because of this meaning, kilesa. They afflict to the beings, and also they define the beings. Okay, they are Lobha, Dosa, Moha, already knows the Mana, Ditti, Vichikicha. Here, the 7th one, only the Tina is called the Kilesa, but Mita is not called the Kilesa because it just depends on the mental factor. It does not related to the consciousness. It's here, the sloth is directly related to the consciousness. So it is called the Tina, sloth. It's called the defilement. And Otaja, restlessness, and Ayurika and Notapa, shamelessness of wrongdoing and fearlessness of wrongdoings. Altogether 10 defilements. Okay, so if we take off the reference entities for each categories, so we get their threefold entities for their former 4 groups. Although they have different here, tails, flash, and bone have the same. And Nok has the different, the greed, hatred, and wrong view that you can recheck again. And 2 for the clinging. So Uparana only 2. And the 8 for hindrances. And disposition 6. And fetter 9. And defilement 10. I already give there in the former slides. Okay, let's continue counting. This system is interesting. If we count the name if we take off the name from the greed, entities of greed, because we only have the mental factors of greed in the 2nd chapter. So mental factor or greed come in different names. Here, for the asawa, the 2 names. So Kamasawa and Bhavasawa. Then Oga Kamoga, Bhavoga, and Yoga, Kama Yoga, Bhava Yoga. And so for the fourth, Ganta, Abhijja Gaya Ganta. And then for in the fifth category, it comes the Kamuparana. So this is also reference to the greed. So in this slide, all reference to the greed. So Nivarana, sensual desire. So Kama Chanda, but they reference to greed. And Anusaya, sensual lust and the attachment to existence. Then here Sanyojana, Kama Raga, Rupa Raga, Arupa Raga, and Bhava Raga in the Abhidhamma method, the Rupa and Arupa come together by the name of Bhava Raga. So all referring to the greed. Then Lobha Kilesa, the defilement of greed by its name. So in the same way, if we count it, so the larger number come with the greed. The second largest is the round view. So round view, you see in the A group, we can find the round view in the A group, the former 3 group. And so only the 6th group of the Nivarana, mental hindrance, there's no round view to name in the category of Nivarana. And the other 8 include the entities of round view. So we have to take a note here, only the 6th group of Nivarana left behind, and Deti Kilesa. Okay, so delusion. There are some mistake here. In the class note I share, so I will resend it. I already credit. So the delusion moha 7. It can be found in 7, but on the number 4th and 5th group of Ganta and Upadana, there is no delusion, avijja. So avijja, there is no Ganta, avijja. There is no Upadana for avijja or delusion. But in other case, it comes by the name of avijja. And in the Kilesa, it comes in the its name moha. So moha and avijja, ignorance, they are synonym. So let's continue for the another entities of hatred. So hatred involved only in the 5 group. So in former 3 group, there's no hatred. There's no hatred. And the 4th group, by the name of Vyabhata. So Vyabhata, evil and hatred the same. It comes, it is not included in the Upadana too. So 4 group exception, and there are 5 groups. Here we can see the 3 names of the dosa. The first one, Vyabhata, translated as evil, and second name, Patika, is translated as aversion, and the third name by its name of dosa. So then doubt have the 4 categories. So the former 5 group, then the other 4. Here doubt come by the name of Vichikecha in all case. Then let's continue for the conceit, mana. So mana has only 3. The last 3 group by the name of mana. So Anusaya, Sayojana, and Kilesa. And restlessness, Uddhaja, also have the 3 groups. And here, there's no Anusaya Uddhaja because it is weak. And only in case of Nivarana, Kilesa, Sayojana, and Kilesa. Here, Nivarana, Uddhaja come with the Kukucha, come together, but it separates the separate entities. And the last one, Kilesa. Okay, so the other entities of unwholesome fetter, unwholesome mental fetter, sloth, tina, it has 2. So here, tina mita nivarana and as a mental hindrance, and the kilesa defilement. So mita, the difference between mita and tina and mita, the Tina sloth. Okay, sorry, here I made a mistake. Here it should be sloth. Sloth have their two category, but Metta Topo have only one category of Nivarana. It belongs to only one. And the others, Wari, Kukucha also only in Nivarana. Ahurika, shamelessness and fearlessness, Anuttapa can be found only in the Kilesa and their name. And envy, Issa and Machuria can be found only in the Sanyojana group. So in this way, we can understand the compendium of Unwholesome. So, okay, for the lesson 49, I'm going to stop here and let's continue to the Q&A session if we have time.
The first question, dear Bhante, is there a place where the Anusaya is stored in our mental process? How do we know whether our Anusaya has been completely removed, since it can be just latent? Thank you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. If we say that the place in the mental process, actually mental process or itself is a place for the Anusaya. So if we say that, want to say the something in the water, so it dissolves in the water because the place is in the water. In the same way, as long as the mental process have the Anusaya is there. So that's why mental process itself is the Anusaya. So although we are talking that it is underlying and the deepest place, but actually the mental process is not arising at in that manner of any place. So if we say where is the place for mental process, so we just can indicate for the condition. So some mental process conditioning in the eye, but they are not, the at the eye, just arising in the nature of mentalities. So that is why, in my understanding, the Anusaya, they are dissolving in the mental process. That is why the place is mental process itself. So if we say that, how can we know when we remove the lenses, so lented the disposition, Anusaya, that if we can remove the defilements, all types of defilement by the mecca. So by the mecca, they are, we can understand Anusaya are also gone, because the nature of the defilements removed or eradicated by their path consciousness, they cannot come again. This is also their nature. That's why we can understand as if we attain the enlightenment through the path knowledge, we understand that there's no more Anusaya potency in our mind. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. I think there is another question still coming in. Okay. So the next question. Dear Sayadaw, in the notes, it is mentioned that the latent dispositions, Anusaya, are defilements which lie along with Anusanti, the mental process to which they belong, rising to the surface as obsessions whenever they meet with suitable conditions. Could Sayadaw explain about rising to the surface as obsessions whenever they meet with suitable conditions with some examples?
Okay.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. So this, for example, for the greed, so Kamaraga Nusaya. So as long as we don't see something we want, for example, a new version of iPhone. So as long as you don't see, and also you are not thinking about that, and the attachment or the sensual lust is not arising, but in the mental process is staying in the underlying level. But when you see that new release of the iPhone, and it comes as the attachment to the into your mental process. It's called the priyutthana level. So coming to the surface means it arises due to the condition. So condition is the you learn about or you see the new version of iPhone. That is a condition, and the underlying disposition of the attachment and the lust, kamaraga nusya, is also a condition. So if see, and the other condition is ionisomanesikara, like this. So if that meets with the other condition, it comes to surface, means they come to the level of priyutthana. Priyutthana means in the mind it comes, and you have attachment, and you want to get it, that is. So it is in this way we can understand. Sometimes the tendency of, how to say, the underlying disposition of the hatred is there. But as long as we meet the good people and there's a good situation where we like, and that is not arising. But if we encounter something we don't like, and that arises, so that is something we can understand. So, okay.
Okay, so we have another question. Just let me copy over. Venerable, what are the purposes of these 9 unwholesome classifications? How to benefit or use from these classifications? Can Venerable give examples of their usefulness? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. How to explain that? This is the classification in the sutta, usually used in the sutta, and by reference to the entities of the reality, but they are different names. So, for example, the person who lives in the seaside, if we explain something, given the example of the showing the condition related to the sea, the truth related to this relevance to the sea, he can understand easily. And for other who live in on the mountain, if we give the example, or if we bring the category they usually make it, then they easily understand. In this way, although there are many, for example, former trees, very similar. So they are referring to the same entirety, but they are categorized in different groups. So that has been by that purpose. So for the relevance explanation to the sea, for one who live in the seaside, and the relevant explanation for the mountain, for who live in the mountain, etc. And some different level. For example, the anusaya and kilesa. So they are all kilesa, but we can understand, we can have more understanding if we bring the classification of the anusaya. So when the Buddha would bring the classification of anusaya, the other tina and uddhacca, etc., have the different potency, different potential from the former 7 in this way. So these are the purpose, and by categorization of this, we can get more understanding, and we can easily understand according to our nature, our relevance situation. Okay.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we have another question that's coming in. Vandami Sayadaw, are Chinese customs also considered as adherence to rites and ceremonies? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. Okay, so not only Chinese custom, the Myanmar custom, etc., the Indian custom, all are included if we adhere, if we adhere them as the way of deliverance, if we make a belief in the way of deliverance by practicing this Chinese custom or by practicing the Myanmar custom, I can attain the enlightenment, or I can attain the liberation from the suffering. If we hold by in that level, all the customs are considered as a adherence to rite and ceremonies. But for the tradition, just to to keep the tradition for the social purpose or social benefits, etc. So because if we maintain the custom, we can maintain the social values and the cultural values. That's why by that purpose, they are not considered in that way. Okay, let's make aspiration and let's share our merit to all beings. Please repeat after me. Imina punya kamena
Imina punya kamena
mami bala samagamo
mame bala samagamo
sadam samagamo hodu
satam samagamo hotu
yawani bana patiya
yava nibbana patiya
idami punyam
vidamme punyam
asavakaya vahan hodu
asavakaya vahang hotu
idami punyam
idamme punyam
nibbana sapachayo hodu
nibbana sapachayo hotu
mama punya bhagam
mama punya bhagam
sabha satanam bhajemi
sabha satanam bhajemi
te sabbe
te sabbe
me samam
me samam
ya bhagam labandu
punya bhagam labantu.
sadhu sadhu sadhu.